This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you're encouraged to like and share them on Facebook. It's time now for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce, across from City Hall in the historic Arcade Building. And now, here's your host, Joanne. Seeger.
You're cracking me up. Oh, my God. I'm still not used to it. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Well, guess what, everyone? It's the third Thursday of the month. So guess who's sitting next to me?
It's Dr. Robbie Day.
Dr. Robbie.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. All right, so here we are, another chilly Thursday morning. So, for us Floridians, this is a nice change. Get the windows open, get that fresh air circulating. But before we do the breathing exercise, I have to confess to the audience that I just took a mini spring break vacation, guys.
Uh-oh.
Yes, and so it was about 4 days in Orlando, the whole Universal thing.
Oh.
Well, so I am struggling a little bit because I think the topic today is so well timed because I realize there is nothing healthy in those parks to eat. So I feel a little bit like a truck ran me over, not a train, but a truck. And so it's like I'm hung over from park food and also screaming because it's like all the kids basically challenged me. There was one ride at Volcano Bay. Now, it was cold and so we're like a little shivery up there on the top of this huge mountain that we're going to go down in this 6-person water raft. Uh-oh. And the person that is facing the person running the ride goes down backwards, so you don't see all the turns and everything coming. Oh. So I looked at him with mama eyes and I said, if you dare put me as the person that goes down backwards, because Scarlett, my stepdaughter, was screaming, make me go backwards, make me. So I'm like, see, that little girl, that precious little girl. But I could tell in his eyes, I could tell he was going to send mama down backwards. Uh-oh. Sure enough, he did. Let me tell you, I do roller coasters, but this was so terrifying. I had tears of fear. Oh, wow. I think that's a song. Running down my cheeks. I was screaming bloody murder. All the kids are laughing at me. This raft goes up in the air. It doesn't even stay in the funnel because they designed it where it goes up. Now, I guess, they know because they weigh you before. I mean, wow, it's intense. But man, guys, I was really scared. And so now my voice sounds crackly and harsh today. It's because I screamed my life away for 4 days.
Why do we love to be terrified?
Well, those adrenaline junkies out there that do this every day of their life, I don't know how. I wouldn't last a month.
I hope they have a chiropractor.
Yeah. Trust me. I thought about you so often. It's either he's going to kill me for going on all these rides or he just has to, fix me back up again and start over. But I felt like, every roller coaster, my neck was going in every direction but normal. It was crazy.
Did you hear what he said?
I got your back.
That's
a
great chiropractor line.
Awesome.
I got your back.
I know. See how slow I am? I'm it took me an extra 30 seconds to process. But
wow.
Did you have your coffee this morning?
Oh, my gosh. Uh-oh. So Matt taught me something new about coffee now. I thought I was coffee pro. So we're at the Starbucks line, and he said, honey, did you order some Americano? I said, no, I just ordered a black coffee. I really don't want to have that much caffeine. And he goes, no. He goes, it's less caffeine. And, of course, I'm like, Miss Nutritionist right in his face. I'm like, no. So, of course, we asked the Starbucks queen, and she's confirmed that he was correct. Wow. Espresso shots actually have less caffeine than a cup of regular black coffee.
Wow.
Okay, you guys didn't know either?
I didn't know that
Oh, my
either.
God, thank God. I'm not
Remind
the only
me not
one.
to drink any of those espressos.
Yeah, so it's almost double the caffeine in a regular cup of black coffee versus the Americano, which is 2 shots of espresso, and then they put hot water in the cup. But that was mind-blowing for me. Sometimes it's even more caffeine than double. Sometimes it's triple, depending on the size and stuff. But I was like, oh my gosh. So no wonder why I'm spinning out of control sometimes.
I think we need to have a show on just
yes.
coffee and
well, too, like
espresso
Cliff
because
mentioned too,
that's-
like one day they're saying drink lots of it, the next day they're saying just be careful of it. But I know there's a place for coffee in the world because I'm
Absolutely.
not giving it up.
Yeah.
So I will create a nutrition world for that.
My doctor
coffee.
told me I could drink coffee, and I said, well, if you tell me I can't drink coffee, just dig a hole.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm hooked. I mean, I started at 42 years old. I mean, so it's been.
You didn't drink
almost 10
coffee
years.
till you were 42?
42.
What's
I
that,
was
3 or
like
4 years now?
I was like, I was super strict and just,
Okay.
wouldn't touch anything of that substance and but just I don't know, I went on a trip in South America and they're obsessed with it. Everything
yeah.
revolves around coffee. So
Oh yeah,
I was sick of drinking water,
Their
Makes
coffee
sense.
beans, they're so much cleaner.
Yeah, we went
And-
to actually places that they showed them how they're grown and processed. And that leads into the topic of the day,
Ta-da.
I'm thinking, because I'm thinking soil and how things are
Yeah.
processed.
Okay.
But we have to do the breathing exercise,
Okay.
guys, because I need to focus and clarify and get centered. And
Best way to do it.
whew. All right, so newbies, thank you for listening today. Every show begins with a breathing exercise. So what we're going to do, exhale out all the yuck of the day, the drama, the stress, and then we're going to inhale through our nose for 5, hold for 5, exhale through our noses for 5, and Cliff, the expert counter, start us off.
That's right. Okay.
Oh,
Everybody let it all out.
We'll do 2 times today since we've
Okay.
already killed too much time.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Let it all out. Okay. Now begin your inhalation through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can open
Thank
your
you,
eyes now.
Cliff.
Okay.
Thank you.
So rejuvenated.
Do you feel better? Doesn't that
Yes.
feel great? Breathing. Huh. Who would think? So when you asked me to do this topic, I was a little resistant, okay? Because the topic of the day is why we need supplements. And this is a challenging topic for me because I was trained many, many moons ago that just get everything from food. And I was just like how sometimes, modern medicine thinks, oh, it's all just a bunch of junk and you don't need supplements. But I found out the hard way that I was wrong, they are wrong, and we are going to discuss today why I now have a big box of supplements that anyone can see at the store. So if you come in and say, Joanne, what do you take? I get my nice arm muscles out and I pull out my box.
Since you asked.
Yeah, and it really does make a difference. This trip is a perfect example. I didn't have my whole regimen, and I definitely felt the difference. So we're going to have Dr. Ravi start off telling us why all of a sudden our foods are not providing us. And we're going to cover all the vitamins, all the minerals as much as we can in the short amount of time to explain that supplements are necessary for every individual, no matter how healthy you think you're eating. Trust me. This is a show you definitely want to pay attention to, and it's going to have a lot of great info. So, Dr. Ravi.
Yeah, I want to start off with
Okay.
toxicity stuff.
Uh-huh.
But to begin with here, I'm a big believer that we are made to eat, right? And so we want to make sure we're getting our nutrients from our foods that we're eating. But when you look at the toxicity stuff, when we look at the cultural cultivation practices that we utilize here in the United States and in the farms, it's something to question of how we're getting our nutrients. And so there was a study done by the Journal of American College of Nutrition just recently, and they looked at 43 different vegetables and fruits. And what they found was that there was a reliable decline in the amount of nutrients, not just vitamins, calcium, phosphorus, iron, especially vitamins B's and C's, the water-soluble ones, that were actually decreased over half of a century.
Wow.
So that means the carrots that we were eating back then, centuries ago,
Yep.
aren't the same carrots that we're eating today. And main thing is our soil is being depleted of nutrients when it comes to those modern cultural cultivation practices. And when we talk about how the soil is being replaced, they're adding pesticides, insecticides. They're also putting in and shifting the microflora of our gut. So therefore, we're not able to absorb these nutrients that are coming in through our food. And so that's why I'm a big believer in supplementation when it comes to getting our nutrients. Food can either heal us or kill us, right? And so we want to get the right amounts. When you also, not just the soil, but our pollution,
scary.
It is.
Yep.
And so a natural occurring element in the air, mercury, when mercury actually hits water, it turns into methyl mercury, and that's the toxic component. And so when these, methyl mercury chemicals lay on our plants or our vegetables, and we ingest them, that's also causing a disruption in our gut system.
Yeah, and that's just one of the ones.
That's just one of them.
We're not really intentionally spraying on everything,
exactly. Right? And so that's, you want to make sure. Big practice is washing your fruits and your vegetables, but also when you're consuming these things, the methyl mercury by research shows that it depletes nutrients that are found in the foods. And now we're going into cooking and how we process our foods in our homes.
Oh yeah,
it's what are we cooking on, right?
I know.
Teflon, a lot of these.
So you
coverings.
could say we're pretty toxic then, right?
We are. And so this is why we're not getting the nutrients we need. And people, what I see in my practice is people are eating all these healthy foods, but they're still having nutritional deficiencies when it comes to calcium, when it comes to vitamin C intake. Why are they getting so sick, And so we, delve into the nutrition component and making sure that they're getting the right nutrients they need. When it comes to grilling, for example, I love grilling. And when you're grilling, 40% of vitamin Bs are diminished.
Yeah.
They get depleted.
It's like smoke in the air.
Smoke in the air.
I'm smelling it next door as it's going away.
The chemical that you're actually smelling is heterocyclic amines.
Oh, I thought it was burnt flesh. See, I can say that as a vegetarian now because I don't eat it anymore.
Vegetarian, yeah. So, when we go into some of the more vitamins shortly after this, we'll talk about, being a vegetarian, why you need to make sure you're supplementing with a B.
A healthy vegetarian.
A healthy, yes.
Yes, not a sugar vegetarian.
Good.
Oh, gosh. Well,
yeah.
Dr. Ravi, are you going to cover today about like all the different like pesticides and stuff that are making us toxic?
Well, one big herbicide, pesticide that I want to really talk about and touch on, and I'll go through that right now, is glyphosate.
Yeah. Tell everyone what they know it as. Because,
glyphosate's known as Roundup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know it makes me horrified when you go to the big box like Home Depot and those stores right now? They have displays that are like 20 feet high and 20 feet wide of Roundup. Like, it's in the news right now, all over social media, how horribly toxic it is. And we're advertising it like, next to like fun little summer chairs. Hey, buy
California
a beach chair.
It is.
Yeah,
yes.
buy a beach chair and grab some Roundup. Buy one, get one free at the same time. It's almost like the CEOs are like, hey, guys, before we get fined billions of dollars for killing our world, let's quickly get rid of all our crap. Yeah.
And, what I'm seeing, too, is an increased amount of people that are gluten intolerant. So when you look at how things are being processed when it comes to agricultural ways and processing, is the type of pesticide that they're using, herbicide, and when they're spraying these things, it's not the gluten that's creating the issue. It's how the interaction between the gluten and the glyphosates.
Yeah.
Also the DDT. Can't even say that right.
I know.
DDT, all these other pesticides that they're spraying alters the chemical makeup of the gluten.
Well, that's what I love about us. We agree that way, that sometimes people are so focused on, the thing that bothers them, like diverticulitis. Like someone will say, all right, don't eat vegetables now because it irritates it. I'm like, no. That wasn't the cause. That is basically now you're inflamed and that's going to irritate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we got everything a little bit backwards, don't we? So
Yes.
I'm so glad you brought up that gluten reference. If the body is strong and operating the way it's supposed to, with toxicity at bay, then things won't bother you.
Exactly. And so over time, when you build up these, chemicals in your body, and talking about diverticulosis or
Yep.
diverticulitis, it leads to leaky gut issues.
Yep.
And then that's, circle around to
Don't you love that
autoimmune
simple
conditions.
name that they gave this condition?
Yes,
Leaky gut.
leaky gut.
And it is exactly
It
what
is.
the name implies.
Yeah.
You're leaking stuff out of your gut that you shouldn't be.
Yes. So
I know, yeah.
you basically lose the lining of your intestines. So, things seep through that, and then your body starts attacking it. And then
Yeah.
you start developing other types of syndromes,
Yeah,
diseases.
malnutrition.
Malnutrition,
and
yeah.
Why we need supplements and our food is not working.
It's
Yep.
it's not unless you're making sure you're even organic. You want to make sure that you're
Yep.
getting good organic foods when you're eating.
Yeah, that's the challenge, is that to bring the two worlds together. I want to tell every person I come in contact with, eat a super healthy diet, drink lots of water, get fresh air, all the things that we talk about on a daily basis with everyone we come in contact with. But the truth is, the real world, we don't have access on a quick, convenient basis that we really exist in that world. We're working hard, we're working a lot of hours, we're running around, and those foods are not through a drive-through. They're not right there at the counter for us to grab. The things that are there for us to grab are the toxic foods, and everyone knows it, but we're kind of just ignoring what we know.
Yeah. And I had to have a conversation with a patient the other day about this, making those decisions. And so, the decisions that we make today dictate where, our health is
Yeah.
in the next 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt was cracking up when I was printing the sheets to see what foods would provide enough nutrients for the fat-soluble vitamins. And he's like, he really freaks out over this stuff. He's like, honey, look at these lists. We don't even eat this stuff. Who eats this stuff? This is a lot of food. And I said, that's the point that Dr. Ravi and I are making, that even if you have the best intentions and you're buying organic and all day long you're getting these foods and in your kitchen with them and not going to restaurants, it's still difficult because of the soil, the pesticides, the herbicides, the fungicides. It's a big challenge. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm definitely want everyone to try to face it and do the best, but supplements are necessary.
It is. Just as well, I'm going to say this here too with chiropractic, with making sure that, the supplements that you're putting in your body and the toxicity component,
Yep.
making sure that you have a proper nervous system.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So many people think of, chiropractic as neck pain doctors, back pain doctors. But when you look at the science behind it, the same nerves that create the back issues coming from the L1 region all the way down to the sacrum or the coccyx, the tailbone.
Oh, you're making me sit up straight now. Okay, go ahead.
Those areas, they run right into your digestive system. So the nerves at L1 at the upper portion of your lower back, so right where the lumbar spine starts occurring, is where digestion process happens. So the small intestine, the stomach. And so when you have pressure on those nerves, it can deplete your function. And
Yeah.
so you're not
Things aren't
absorbing
going
the
in and out
nutrients.
the way they are supposed to.
Exactly.
If someone listening is new to chiropractic or they've never seen a chiropractor, especially as amazing as you, what is that picture that you always have on the main walls that show all the systems and how they're linked, like you just mentioned digestion? What is that called if they want
It's
to
a Merrick
Google?
chart.
What is it called?
It's a Merrick chart. MERIC, a Merrick chart.
Okay, everyone needs to Google that and look at this so they can actually visualize what Dr. Ravi's saying, because when I explained this numerous times after seeing him, I went in for something. I honestly thought he wasn't even treating me for it because he never
TMJ.
touched the area. He never touched the area. But what I also noticed is like my digestion was improving, my bowels were improving, like all these other things. And if you look at the chart, you get a visualization that with these adjustments, when everything's in line the way they're supposed to, it just opens up the body to do what it was supposed to do.
Exactly.
So sometimes people think, I hate to say this to you, but a lot of people have the impression like chiropractors are just about like fixing a bone, like putting something, and it's so beyond that.
Yes.
It's like making everything communicate, and it's amazing. And some people will come in and say, "Oh, I feel a little anxious or a little thing," and I'll say, "Oh, you should see my chiropractor." And they look at me like I have four heads. Like, why would I see a chiropractor if I feel nervous? Because something's not signaling or communicating correctly in the body. So I'm getting a little off track here, but the intestines are the same way. You know, like you were saying, if they're not operating right, or there's leaky gut or permeability issues, nutrients are not going where they need to go.
Exactly.
You know?
So to optimize that is making sure you don't have pressure on those nerves.
Definitely.
And to allow that healing process to begin.
Yeah. You know, take some of the toxicity burden off your body and put some good nutrients in. Always eat well. Taking supplements is never a reason not to eat well. It will never be enough. You have to have the balance of healthy food, less toxicity, and supplementation. And I think you're going to cover what supplements are healthier than others. Is that going to be?
The vitamins.
Oh, vitamins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you want to start off with the fat-soluble ones?
Sure.
I can go into water.
Okay. Well, you know, so the fat-soluble ones, I think I kind of glad I got that, teacher, so thank you. The reason why is because I reference the vitamin, fat-soluble vitamins all the time as a way to say we evolve, we change, we learn, we grow. So if you're under the impression from old school thinking that we do not need supplements, fat solubles are a perfect example that that's not true. So for instance, vitamin D. There was a time that I was selling vitamin D that people would come in and say, "Oh, my doctor told me never to take vitamin D ever. It was extremely bad, and you know, I'll die if I take, you know, like a couple pills." And they really did. It was that drastic. So I didn't agree then. I don't agree now. And now the same doctors are telling people to take way and above what we ever said as nutritionists, because the vitamin D deficiency is now 90% of the population, 90%. And, you know, here it can come from sunlight. So that just shows you like there's some issues here. So
people in Florida with sunshine all the time have vitamin D deficiencies.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
So I'm going to start off. Maybe we can would do like I'll do one fat soluble vitamin, then you could do some water soluble.
Yeah.
That way it's not all me, since my voice is a little crackly today. So fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E, and K. And fat soluble vitamins, just like the name implies, they need fat to absorb. They work with the outer cell membrane of every one of your billions of cells. They have extreme importance for immune system, health, bones. It goes on, but I'll go over each one specifically. So let's start with vitamin A. Now, vitamin A, again, okay, you did the carrot example, so that's perfect. So we were talking about carrots earlier, how now our carrots have very little nutrition in it compared to what it used to years ago. So vitamin A is what everyone thought, just eat a carrot a day, and I'll get enough vitamin A to help my eyes, my vision be strong. But unfortunately, it's not the case anymore. So now you need to take vitamin A as a supplement. So one of the things that is a symptom of vitamin A deficiency is blurred vision, okay, and or night blindness. And I don't know about you, Dr. Ravi, but blurred vision is extremely common now. Extremely common, like with all my customers. It is a side effect of diabetes and blood sugar not being regulated. And the blurred vision is scary because when people have blurred vision, they're like, "Oh my gosh, am I having a stroke? Am I having, a heart attack? Is this diabetes?" And they get very fearful. But it could just be that you're not consuming enough vitamin A. So yes, you want to have colorful, fruits and vegetables in your diet that provide the vitamin A. But you also want to take some vitamin A. So I wish I brought my packet in to show on the camera, but I have like beta-carotene, straight vitamin A in my supplements, as well as all the fat-soluble vitamins and minerals. But every time I take that, it is peace of mind that I am protecting the retina of my eyes. I am protecting my skin. A lot of people take vitamin A that have concerns of acne. They want to have their skin be healthy. If your skin is patchy, scaly, dry, irritated, that's a vitamin A deficiency. So vitamin A, again, I've been selling it for over 30 years. Very safe, very effective, great. The two biggest well-studied things is skin and vision, but I'm pretty sure everything has a reason to be in the body, so it probably has a million other uses. But again, we focus on a couple of the primary ones, and I think
It's also
let's
like mucous membranes. Any like mucus, like the eyes, once
Oh,
again, like you
yes,
were saying.
that's a great,
nasal
yes.
passageway for sinuses.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I'm going through my notes. It's like I really haven't talked about isolated nutrients in years. I really, it's like not something I talk about every day, but I take them all together.
So I want to ask you a question here, and I think
Sure.
it'll. So, do you recommend for someone that has the blurry eye vision that they should take just a strictly a single vitamin A supplement, or
I don't. I
okay,
never.
in a multi, right?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
everyone knows. If you go to my section of vitamins, it's very, very small.
Good.
It's very small. The reason why is I always believe in balance. No nutrient should be taken alone. I in nature, everything is created with all your vitamins and minerals together. There's never one food that has one isolated nutrient. So I never try to go against nature. I always try to do what's there and has been there for centuries. So, but now there are some people that will get suggested by their doctors to do isolated. So I provide that then with the information that you need to balance it. You put too much A, you might throw another nutrient off like zinc or something, and you want to keep a balance of all your vitamins and minerals. And again, like I'm going through like the printout I did for vitamin A deficient, all the things that vitamin A does. And it's like protects eye health, supports immunity, relieves inflammation, keeps skin glowing, contains cancer-fighting property, boosts bone health, reduces cholesterol, aids in reproduction development, promotes tissue repair, prevents urinary stones. But honestly, Dr. Ravi, I feel like there's probably 10 more pages.
That does, yeah.
It's in everything we eat that's healthy. Any of the healthiest foods always has lots of vitamin A in it. Your squashes, like
Anything
and so-
orange,
yeah.
because that carotene, the
Exactly.
conversion to A.
and unfortunately, it's a lot of things that people are not
They don't like.
consuming that they don't like, and so therefore, the conditions are happening. So to answer your question, someone comes in with blurred vision. First I'm going to work on things that I am nervous about, like the blood sugar spikes and circulatory issues. But then I will definitely put them on a multi that's well based with all the nutrients to make sure. I call it a safety net. That way I know I'm giving them, because if they have one deficiency, it's most likely that they're deficient in all the nutrients. Because it's just we're up against eating, like you mentioned earlier, foods that are toxic and do not have the nutrient in their soil anymore.
Yeah.
All right, I think my throat's given out. Your turn.
I'll go to the next one, vitamin B, which is
beautiful.
AB.
Okay. Oh, we're doing the alphabet. How cute. Okay.
So yeah, vitamin B's. This is a water-soluble vitamin, and what that means, it basically relates with water. So just think about it. You're excreting a lot of water through your urine. So this is where you basically can't take vitamin B or get too many vitamin B's. There's so many different vitamin B's, but I'm going to harp on a few of these. B1, which is thiamine. This is going to be important for a conversion of, the foods that we're putting in our body into energy. And so we mainly eat to get more energy. So someone that's low energy, fatigue, just doesn't feel great, especially after waking up in the morning, they could be deficient in their water-soluble vitamin B. B2, this is also for energy production and metabolism. So every biochemical pathway that happens in the body needs these vitamin Bs. B3, niacin. This is one that I find that a lot of people have a sudden reaction to, especially if someone's taking a niacin by itself.
Been there.
And this is where I don't really with you on the thought of, God made all these into one.
Yep.
You know, just one vitamin like niacin can create issues.
Yeah.
Such as the niacin flushes that
Especially
you
the
would
high
see.
doses that
The high
doctors
dosage.
prescribed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Important for heart health, cardiovascular health as well. B6 is very important for the formation of red blood cells. So someone that's lacking in red blood cells, when you look at your lab work, this is something that you want to be on, a vitamin B complex.
Definitely.
Brain function as well. B9, very important with a lot of the pregnant moms that I see. I want to make sure that they're taking a B9 supplement or their multivitamin has their B9 in it. The sourcing is very important. And when I say important, we want to make sure it's folate because this is where that methylation occurs. When I talk about methylation, I'm going to jump to B12. B12 is going to be important for supporting cardiovascular health, every type of nervous system action. It also supports the metabolism as well. So goes in hand with energy. So you're going to see like in the mall, the corner store in the mall, they have these shots that
Oh,
they're
yes.
giving
I
out.
did see that. Yeah.
I think it's outrageous, but you know, the B12 very important for energy. And so once again, making
And
sure
it really
you're getting
works. I mean, you can definitely do that instead of coffee or a sugary drink. B12
exactly
definitely gives
B12,
you energy.
yeah, and making sure it's the methylated portion.
Yep.
This, when I say methylation, it helps with the binding of the vitamin to the cell, so it actually gets into the cell through the phospholipid
It actually
layers.
works.
It does.
How
and
amazing.
so the methylation portion basically it provides a greater solubility, stability, and leading into bioavailabilities for the utilization of its actual purpose.
Right. And I think too, Dr. Ravi, some people might not have ever heard of that word methyl.
Methyl.
Even though we talk about it every day, methyl is like, what are they talking about? But when you are buying your supplements, you really need to look like we always talk about. Don't just go by the front of the bottles. Turn around and look at where the vitamins and minerals are derived from. And you will see with the B vitamins especially, and this super especially with B12, they will tell you in parentheses next to the B12 where it comes from. So most commonly, you can find cyanocobalamin. So just think the word that starts with a C is the most common, but the better form is always a methyl. A methyl has much better chance of doing its job, absorbing, and you feeling it, and with less toxicity. Because supplements are created in labs, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad. But if they're making it where it's not absorbable when they have the ability, now most vitamin companies can spend more money and get coenzymated methyls to make your body not do so much of the work and get stressed out when you take these supplements. So always choose methyl. Always choose methyl when there's an option. Some vitamins yet they haven't, have the technology to put them in a bottle the best way, but
Yes.
they're working hard to do that. But the methyl for B12 especially, it's available everywhere. You can always get methyl B12, but look at your bottles at home. If it says the C, cyanocobalamin, you're not getting the most for your money.
Yeah, and so along with that, once again, these are water soluble, so you're excreting these out very frequently. So once again, you want to make sure that you're getting this methylcobalamin in appropriately, so you're not excreting and wasting what you're putting into your body.
Exactly, and I always say our bodies are already overworked as it is. Why give them more to like my biggest joke is when people would come in with these big, huge B vitamins that were like all synthetic, and they would say like B2000, I don't know, just like this huge dosing of synthetic Bs, and they were wondering why they were so tired and nauseous, and it was just, they were miserable. And I'm like, because believe it or not, even though you take B vitamins to fight stress and give you energy, it was causing the body so much energy loss and stress to try to break down these synthetics. So so now we have methyls, we have folates, sublinguals, much better options.
Yes.
So, beautiful. Okay. So
Should I go into C?
Yeah.
Keep it with the alphabet?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay. So vitamin C. This This is a good one here because once again, it's a water soluble and it's one that is a necessary as well. It's an antioxidant. And so, what an antioxidant does, it helps promote health. It increases your immune system. So, it's also helps detoxify your body effectively. So, works synergistically with the liver in producing and helping your body, produce the glutathione to help detox effectively. It is also used as an antihypertensive, so it lowers your LDL cholesterol and triglycerides. And it also enhances the bioavailability of iron, which I see a lot in practice, is that a lot of iron deficiencies. So, this is one of the vitamins that we're deficient in. So if you do suffer from iron deficiencies, vitamin C can help bring that up.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. It's like crazy. But in all the
and once
whole
again,
food
all
iron,
these vitamins work synergistically together.
Yeah.
Vitamin C also, it's essential to produce collagen, which maintains a healthy skin, bone tissue, joints, ligaments, tendons. And one great way to get this in through your diet, on top of making sure it's in your multivitamin, is through citrus fruits. Bell peppers are pretty high in this, and Brussels sprouts and kale as well.
Yep. And I when I learned, I did a quiz. I used to quiz my employees. It was a way to motivate them to learn. They get a little bonus when they complete the quizzes, right? And so I was like, what food has the highest amount of vitamin C? And everyone, of course, was like oranges. And then, the bell pepper at that point was definitely the highest ranking. And everyone was like in shock, Well, I drink my, 12 ounces of orange juice every morning for my
What's in that
vitamin C.
orange
I'm
juice?
like, oh, you just got 55 grams of sugar.
Yep.
Congratulations. Now you're running into deficiency. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, boy. All right. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right. I guess
For
it's
D.
the big D. Oh, vitamin D. So I mentioned earlier a little bit, but I'm going to recap because everyone is being told to take vitamin D. And, that's part of like the insurance world. What are we testing for? The couple popular nutrients of the year. So vitamin D is it. Now, Cliff, you asked why, if we're in Florida, why are we so deficient?
Yeah.
So I learned something that, maybe I knew it, but I didn't really put two and two together.
I could take a wild guess.
So vitamin D is fat soluble. Okay. Where do you think it stores? Any idea?
Well, where you don't want it to.
Well, in fatty tissue and in the liver. So that's where vitamin D stores. So one of the reasons they think that we're so deficient is because even if we're taking in the vitamin D, we have such an obesity epidemic right now that we have so much extra body fat that it's storing in our body fat instead of being utilized for all the critical functions that the human body needs. That to me is mind-blowing.
It is,
It's
we
like
could do something about that, though.
It's, of course, right?
Yeah.
But it's a little bit mind-blowing because, once again, it's our choices, our habits that are creating these deficiencies. So, if your vitamin D is coming from sunlight, what else could be making it not work besides that? How about all these toxic sunscreens?
That was my wild guess.
Yeah, so toxic sunscreens. Now, this one is a tough one for me because, with my light Irish skin and my mother dragging me to the beach when I was very young, and unfortunately my skin got really burned, I have basal cells.
And the only tan you got were in freckles.
Yeah, it's freckles connecting. And so I know firsthand that, okay, what do? You have to wear sunscreen because you're nervous, but yet that the chemicals in the sunscreen have been linked to cancer, vitamin D deficiency. So you're a little bit, so there are natural sunscreens that you can use. That's what I choose to use. But there is a definite link, and there are studies proving that it is our chemical sunscreen use that is preventing the vitamin D to naturally coming in and converting and to be utilized in the body. And bone loss, you must deal with this all the time. People with osteopenia, osteoporosis, bone loss is extremely common. Unfortunately, most people test these things when the damage is already done. They're coming into, their late 40s, early 50s, getting a bone scan for the first time, realizing, that the damage of bone loss is already occurring. So you really need vitamin vitamin D for the bones, okay? But to get back to the sun. So if you just get 10 minutes of early morning sunlight without sunscreen, that would be enough. Now they say to lay naked. I don't know who has the luxury of living in a neighborhood where you can just go lay naked out on a lawn chair.
We don't do it in ours.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely don't have that option, okay? But so I think just, we're just as, just maybe a bathing suit or light clothing. Just do not cover up your arms and your legs. Do not put sunscreen on, and just get 10 to 15 minutes of early morning exposure. It's really good for you anyways, a great chance to meditate or just really center yourself for the day. So the vitamin D, you can get through supplements now, and D3 is super popular. I know that I think you have it you offer it at your practice, right? And I have it at the store. The D3 can be arranged from 1,000 IUs to 50,000 IUs. Sometimes there's prescriptions that are suggested for higher dose. My mind really intuitively believes, smaller doses more consistently, and fat-soluble vitamins, all A, D, E, and K, should definitely be consumed with a meal that has some fat in it. There are studies that show that will help the absorption, and again, we are up against a digestive system that might not be aligned correctly, that might not be absorbing correctly, or that might be inflamed or toxic. So you want to give that supplement the best chance for absorption it can. So if you take your fat-soluble vitamins with a little healthy fat, that might be a good idea.
I've had a few patients that were turned off of taking multivitamins, and they say it causes a lot of nauseous feelings.
Yes.
And so the reason why to that is they're not putting enough fats in their diet and not taking it with a fatty food, which healthy fats.
And unfortunately, a lot of people today aren't eating bitter food, so their gallbladder is burdened, their bile ducts are all clogged up.
So
it makes them more nauseous.
So just a little tidbit there.
Yeah, that is true. Some of the tricks I give people is telling them to put their usually fat-soluble vitamins come in soft gels. So I suggest that they put them in the refrigerator or even the freezer, so that way they don't get that burping. But I love healthy fats. I love, avocados and macadamia nuts and Brazil nuts. So for me, it's easy to access a healthy fat while I'm taking my supplements. But if you're not having healthy fat in your diet, before you even consider supplements, you got to remember healthy fats are part of every single cell membrane. That's your defensive mechanism against the free radicals, the things that try to break our cells down and damage our cells. So think avocados, healthy nuts, seeds, just anything that you can, just even a spoonful to take with your fat-soluble vitamins. It will help them absorb and also help you get healthier. Our brain, we need fat for our brain and our eyes. I mean, we could probably do an hour just on healthy fats, right?
Omega-3s.
But the vitamin D, this really could have a show in itself. The vitamin D is just, definitely that train did maybe hit me. So you definitely, and I want to bring this up because this was in the notes. Do you remember, you're so young. So cod liver oil. Cliff, do you remember Grandma with the cod liver oil? Do you remember that?
My mom used to force us to take that.
Okay, all right.
It was
And it's so funny. We always say force us.
Yes.
Everyone says, my mother or my grandmother, she forced us to take this icky cod liver oil. So a lot of people think that that's the only way to get the vitamin D. So just so everyone knows,
Father
that's
John's
not
medicine.
true. Yeah, it's like gross. Some people even told me that they would see fish chunks in their cod liver oil. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. Like mine is like flavored with orange and lemon. I mean, I don't know where you're getting yours from, but yeah, I just want D deficiency. So once again, all our nutrients work together as one big happy family. But here are some of the things. They spend money for things that they really feel are important at the time. So with the studies on vitamin D deficiency, this is what it's linked to: osteoporosis, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer, autoimmune diseases, depression, insomnia, arthritis, diabetes, asthma, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, and psoriasis. Now, these are things I see, and I'm sure Dr. Ravi sees every day with people. This used to not be common. Now, all these illnesses are becoming common. Vitamin D is extremely inexpensive, or get it free from the sun with the couple tips that we're saying. But if you do have a higher body fat content, remember that your vitamin D might be fighting for absorption between a fat cell and utilized for all these important functions. So D supplementation, inexpensive, safe, and easy to do. So I would definitely, if anything, any takeaway from the show, definitely start doing some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they make yummy sprays now, chewies, lots of delicious, healthy forms
And
of
I feel
D.
this is like an easy one to fix really pretty
Yes.
quick. And
Yeah.
especially with
And
lab
insurance covers the lab work
yeah.
to see if you actually
And so
upped
for
it.
anyone out there that wants to get their vitamin D levels checked, I think in 2 weeks I'll be doing a group of people. We have 15 patients that don't have insurance. And so the cost for that is only $50. It's through
Wait,
Lapstop.
is there a cap on how many people can do this?
No, there's not a cap. I just
Okay.
need 15 people to get
Oh.
the non-insurance
Oh, I'll
rate.
get you 15 people in a day. Yeah, I'm okay.
But I believe we're over 15, so that's good.
Okay.
And so we get your lab work done, and you'll just go to Labstop.
What
US,
is it going to test?
Just vitamin D levels.
Oh, just the vitamin
Just
D.
the vitamin D
Okay.
levels.
Oh,
And
I
that's
thought
for
all of it
non-insurance.
as like $50.
Yeah, that would be a
Holy
steal.
moly. Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yes.
that's,
So,
okay.
Looking at your numbers very important. You want to make sure it's between 30 is the lower scale, all the way up to 100 is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, 90% of the population is deficient.
Deficient.
And, for a long time, they just thought it was people that had darker skin that couldn't absorb it. But 75% of with a light skin still are deficient. So they prove, but the
Yeah.
obesity again comes into play. But I think, I definitely think that the other thing I want to point out, chronic fatigue and depression, anxiety, trouble sleeping,
All
vitamin
linked to
D
that vitamin D,
deficiency. I mean, gosh, like everyone's taking all these drugs trying to fix it, where it could be like a $4 supplement.
yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay, your turn, kiddo.
Let's go ahead with the fat soluble with vitamin E. This is a tocopherol, so an antioxidant, and it helps to form red blood cells. With vitamin D and E by itself alone, they actually help with sinus issues, so sinusitis issues. So someone that has like allergies and that gets frequent sinus infections, this is something that they want to make part of their regimen.
Okay, D and E
D and
together.
E together.
Okay.
And you can get this through like vitamin E through your fish that you're eating, and also sunflower seeds.
All right. I know E was yours, but can I just tell everyone what I really is critical about this one? All right. So for years I've been saying this. So the E manufacturer, any oils in general can be very easy for manufacturers to mislead us. Okay. So oils that come from the ground, they can call them natural, but they could be petroleum byproducts. So there is a lot of vitamin E out there that is synthetic and petroleum based. So I have a really simple trick for you. When you buy your vitamin E, you want to look like it will say different tocotrienols or different tocopherols. If you see the L next to the word vitamin E in the parentheses, just think L is for losers. That's the petroleum based, the bad kind, okay? So, and it's better, the more, there's like 8 different tocotrienols and tocopherols in vitamin E. So you want to try to find ones that have as many of those 8 natural compounds without petroleum byproducts. So L is for losers, and I'll give you a hint. If you're buying a big bottle from a box store for $9.99 for 180
L.
pills, it's an L. It's a loser. So, oh gosh, 4 minutes, Cliff? Seriously?
Yikes.
All right.
You can do the last one.
Okay. What was my last one? I already forgot.
Vitamin
K. Holy moly, 4 minutes for K. All right, hold on. I don't know why I need notes for K. K is just like vitamin D right now, super popular. So the only thing I think everyone knows, if they're taking, any type of blood thinners, they're taught, stay away
Stay
from
away.
vitamin K. Now, I just want everyone that's on blood thinners to maybe do some homework for yourself, and I'll help you with this research. That there's a lot of research now that shows that you can thin your blood naturally using foods and supplements versus a drug. And
It has side effects.
Yeah, without side effects. And the other part is any drug that tells you never to eat healthy vegetables, I hate and I run from. So the other part of this is they showed that it took a high levels of vitamin K to actually
Thin the
create
blood.
So it's just so we definitely want to do research on any prescription we ever decide to take, and read the side effects and decide maybe some lifestyle changes would be a better choice. So vitamin K, oh boy, just like vitamin D, you definitely want vitamin K in your life. So let's see, we can get vitamin K deficiency, bone breakage. Oh gosh, Dr. Ravi, help me
Yeah,
here. I'm
and
like,
so
okay,
as a chiropractor,
poor
let me-
gut health. Yeah, poor
Yeah.
gut. I mean, I'm like, there's so much. Like vitamin K, it's like vitamin D. It's like a
The
deficiency.
absorption, very important.
Yes.
And so this is one big thing as a chiropractor. I look at the bone health, right? And so someone that has osteopenia, osteoporosis, you want to make sure you're taking vitamin K to help with the absorption of the calcium that you're putting into your body, which is an important mineral by itself. Once again, like Joanne, you were talking about blood clotting mechanisms, very important. So if you're taking a drug to decrease your blood clotting, just take a look at the research and look at what you can do through nutrition,
Definitely.
and without the side effects of medications.
And I know through my notes what I was just looking for. So taking antibiotics long term, taking cholesterol lowering medicine. Now, who takes that? Cholesterol lowering medicine, right? And taking blood thinners, right? The funny thing is, it's like you need the vitamin K. So that's leading to deficiencies. So I know that pretty much, I think it's 1 out of every 2 Americans are on cholesterol lowering medications.
Yes, that's the
Yeah,
right
so
statistic.
so we definitely need vitamin K deficiency. And the gut health, our intestinal problems have been linked to vitamin K deficiency. So K is critical. Once again, super inexpensive, but natto, when I went to school for nutrition, we actually ate natto because it was in a Japanese household. Smelled gross, tasted gross, but natto has a ton of natural vitamin K. So you can get natto, vitamin K from natural sources. So check it out. Ooh, I definitely have to rest my throat at this. Thank God you were with me today, Dr. Ravi. I never would have survived. Thank you. You're awesome as always. All right, everyone. Dr. Ravi here, and his commercial will come up so you can get all the info on him. And thank you so much for listening. Have a great week, Dr. Ravi. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Awesome.
He's got your back.
I love it.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of
Joanne.
Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce, across from City Hall, in the historic Arcade Building. Archives of this program are on YouTube. Go to WPSLTV.com and look for Joanne's World of Nutrition there. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, celebrating 25 years and counting.